Stern reveal new Foo Fighters game. American Pinball teases Galactic Tank Force game. Multimorphic teases new Scott Denisi game. And Jersey Jack teases the new Godfather game.
Hi.
I can't go any higher than that.
My name is Jonathan Joosten. I'm the editor of Pinball Magazine, joined by...
Martin Ayub here, of editor of Pinball News, and we're here to look back at all the excitement that took place in the month of February 2023 and a little bit of March as well, because we're including a little bit of news that's almost breaking as we're recording this, which is on the 3rd of March.
Yes.
So we'll bring you that a little bit later, but it's been a busy month, I'd say.
Yeah, you think February is going to be a slow month, but it seems like there's quite a few manufacturers who are preparing themselves to launch games either ahead of Texas Pinball Festival or at Texas Pinball Festival, which is the last weekend of March.
That's right. Yes, and we both plan to be there, of course, for that.
Yeah, but if flight rates drop tremendously, like 60% or so.
Yeah, it's not looking good for you. I'm glad I locked my deal in early and got my flight, so I'm definitely going to be there. But hopefully, John's going to be joining me there.
Oh,
so
I hope so
do
as well.
our So you think you know pinball quiz together?
Yeah. And also you have to do it by yourself. Yeah.
Well, or we'll be doing it on Zoom or Teams or...
It will be the first
Skype
international So You Think You Know Pinball quiz.
The transatlantic edition.
Exactly, yeah. So,
but hopefully not. And yes, as you were saying, well, at Texas, I think we're going to be having at least 4 new games there.
Yeah, and possibly even 6 or 7.
Yeah. Yes, we'll come on to what some of those might be a little bit later, but we can probably start straight away because we don't want to waste too much time. We've got a lot to get through in this particular Pincast.
Okay, Stern Pinball.
Yes, Stern. So, big story from them is the release of their Foo Fighters game, which was preempted by a couple of video teasers. I mean, this seems to be the trend now.
Yeah.
You don't just announce a game anymore.
We'll hype it for a couple of days.
Yeah, or at least a week, couple of weeks in some cases. Some games might actually that are being teased now from other manufacturers might only be revealed come Texas show. So in 3 weeks time, pretty much.
Yeah.
So there's a month worth of teasing.
So, and on that subject of teasing, and I know everybody is waiting for the news on Foo Fighters, but apparently, let's say Foo Fighters looks like a kick-ass game. Pardon my French.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah, and
it's got some nice design features. But anyway, yes.
If people only have a budget to buy one game, I see why other manufacturers are trying to get people to not spend their money yet, because they hope they want to change their opinion on, well, maybe not get Foo Fighters, but get their game.
Well, timing is critical in this, I guess. But that Stern were first to show their hand. And as we said, there were a couple of teaser videos, one of which just sort of said fighting soon and just basically revealed that the title was Foo Fighters. The second one was actually, the second video of theirs was actually released on the day that they released details of the whole game,
right?
Which was a much longer video, sort of setting out the storyline to the game, which is there's this alien
Are you ready
overlord.
To fight? Yeah.
Yeah, which the Foo Fighters then assemble a fighting machine to defeat them and save the Earth by touring various venues across the US,
and
playing gigs.
Not to forget about saving rock and roll.
Oh, that, well, yeah, because, I mean, obviously that's more important than the planet. So that was the tease, and that last tease video came out on the morning of Tuesday, the 28th of February, with the full announcement coming out just around midday.
Yeah, hours later.
Yes, American time, of course.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a design by Jack Danger, with art by Zombie Yeti. Software lead is Tanya Kleiss. And I understand Raymond Davison as well is working on that game.
Yeah, it's quite a heavy team. I didn't write down all the names, but they are all featured in a special Twitch stream that Jack Danger held. I think actually he did two. One with LE, a limited edition gameplay. That was the first one. And there was also one with pro gameplay, which is actually rather quick for Stern, because usually we have to wait weeks before we get to see gameplay while the game is already being sold.
Yeah, it was actually quite unusual, the reveal in many ways, apart from the teasers, in that they announced the set list of the 15 music tracks from the Foo Fighters that are included in the game before the game was shown. And then they also announced a reveal timetable as well,
which
was going to be
went up in smoke immediately.
Well, it kind of did, because it said that they were going to reveal the LE first and then reveal the Pro and then the Premium after that. But then later they said, well, we're going to show all of them at the start. But the timetable for streaming and doing live action of the game itself was kept to, I think. So obviously worked it out well in advance. So good scheduling and good planning there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Also because we've seen releases from Stern where there were no flyers present or the game was revealed, but no assets available, that kind of stuff. We've seen that in the past, and this time everything was spot on. Everything available on the website, videos, everything, flyers as well for 3 different models. So good work in that department, the promotion department, I suppose.
Yeah, certainly a bit of a contrast to the James Bond reveal from the previous game, where it was, shall we say, piecemeal and patchy, and obviously a little rushed, shall we say, let's put it that way. But I'm no doubt by the licensor with this James Bond 60th anniversary celebrations going on. The game was shown before it was ready, and released, in fact, before it was ready. But certainly none of that with Foo Fighters. So yeah, congratulations to everybody involved. It looks like a really good game. Some very nice and unusual playfield features. I wouldn't say unique necessarily, but features we haven't seen on Stern games before.
Yeah.
And Jack Dane did a very good job with it. And Zombie Yeti art all over it, of course. Very distinctive. 3 different art packages for the 3 different models. A lot of work gone into that. And although interestingly, I think the general consensus seems to be that the Pro model has the most attractive cabinet and back glass package on it. Which is strange. You think the LE would have that, but anyway, the LE is limited to 1,000 this time. Pricing on the game is basically 6,000 for the Pro, 9,700. This is dollars, of course. $7,000 for the Pro, 9,700 for the Premium, and 13,000 for the limited edition. As I say, limited to 1,000. And when it was released, where information was released at midday on the, it's 11 o'clock, wasn't it, on the 28th of February, then there's a limited number of LE machines were available to purchase through the Stern web shop for those people who are paid up all access members of Stern Insider Connect.
And they sold out.
Yeah, of course, because there weren't very many of them. And also... you had to live. It was only available to buyers in the US. So anybody else, you had to go through your distributor and hope that they had their allocation if you wanted a limited edition. Of course, Pro and Premium, not limited at all.
Right. Now, if you want to get an idea for what this game is like, okay, basically think like Attack from Mars meets a rock band pinball. And then there you have it.
In theme?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, sure. So you've got 15 music tracks in it. Obviously, an awful lot of buy-in from the surviving members of the band, which is good. There's going to be there's lots of custom speech recorded, and I think it's just and it's they seem to have got a good amount of assets to use video wise, because it's not done like JJP's Guns N' Roses, where it's a concert footage. It's all cartoon style characters on the playfield, on the screen, I should say, and on the playfield. So not a concert as such, but a story.
No, but Foo Fighters is an interesting band. They do stuff that they are known for doing, going into town with the van and hyping their concert and that kind of stuff, which is a part of the game. And there's videos of that kind of stuff circulating on the internet as well. So it's not your traditional rock band with big egos, and it doesn't seem to be like that. So, and then there's of course the alien element in the game, where you're battling against this overlord. But theme aside, I think Jack Danger really deserves a compliment for such a creative layout.
Absolutely, I think there's some, as I said before, there's some very interesting design elements in there.
Yeah,
things like kicking targets, things like the stand-up targets in the in lanes as well. That's a new thing. The dead post on the
and when you see it, you're like, why did nobody else think of that before?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to remember whether I've seen that before anywhere else, and I think I probably haven't actually. Yeah, not that particular feature, not the stand-ups. I was kind of wondering what they were for. Whether they were for, if you shat the in lanes, as they call it, where you shoot the ball up the in lane and hit the target by flipping it on the very, very, very end of the flipper, which you obviously do in a lot of older games in order to roll the ball over the in-lane lanes, and light the in-lanes and in a safe-ish way. But is it for that, or does the ball hit that target when it comes down the in-lane anyway? And is it a replacement for a roller?
Not if it rolls down from the top in the usual way. If you catch the ball with the flipper, then it rolls back. So it only hits when you catch the ball and it rolls back into the in lane. Okay,
but can you nudge the game if the ball's coming down the in lane so it hits that target?
I don't think so. I didn't pay too much attention to it on the Twitch stream that has been available now for a couple of days. But that's just one of the innovative features. And then there's this basically a bang back, but sort of legalized. Or
as part of the gameplay now. There's an up post which pops up on the left in lane as if the ball's coming down fast enough. Sorry, out lane. Yes, quite right. The ball's coming down fast enough, it can hit the post. If you're holding the left flipper up, then it can roll under that and onto the right flipper in the normal sort of death save manner, and it makes it part of the gameplay rather than being an outlawed feature, which or frowned upon, shall we say, in casual play and illegal in tournament play usually.
Right.
But how that's going to work in, I guess it would just be disabled or is part of the game.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awarding points as well if you do it successfully. So it's part of the game. So you're supposed to do it. And you don't have to drive your knee into the coin door to get it.
Yes, that's right, or damage the game at all. So that's good. So it has an upper play field on the Premium and Limited Edition, not on the Pro, with a fourth flipper for those two games. And it actually looks like quite an interesting upper play field as well. It's not just a simple...
It reminded me of I think it's the second level on Pinball Circus. The Pinball ramp.
Oh, right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that has a little mini play field where, with a big flipper, where you can make the same loop shot as you have on Foo Fighters, but you can also shoot the ball up to a ramp.
Yeah, up to the next level, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I know it. Yeah. I thought it was nice to have that diverter on the upper playfield that allows you to loop it or not loop it.
Right. So,
which is a nice
feature.
feature.
Looks like a very flowy game, very fast, which goes well with the very energetic music of the Foo Fighters. If you're a fan of the band, upon the launch of a ball, you can select a track. Not from all 15, because a few are reserved for modes and wizard modes, I suppose. I think.
Yep.
I think there's like 9 or 11 that you can choose from, and basically that's then your main music throughout the game until you select another song at the launch of a new ball.
Right.
So, and then modes have their own music and so on. So.
Okay. Well, that's probably covered pretty much everything within Foo Fighters that we can talk about without showing things visually. Right. So
move on.
Yeah.
Any other Stern news?
There's been a few tweaks to Insider Connected features. There's a new high game score percentile, showing how your high scores on each game compare to other people's, if you are into that kind of stat. And your player profile stats XP meter, which shows how your total experience compares to other people, if you care about that. So I know it's a very wide range of people who are really seriously into collecting all the achievements and keeping an eye on their, or constantly looking at how their profile is performing, and a whole bunch of other people who couldn't give a damn one way or the other about Insider Connected and have no interest whatsoever. But if you are interested in it, then you have those new features added. And... Okay. Some new code, which John will be delighted about, because we know how much he loves new code.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, it improves the game, so that's good.
It does. And
at some point, it makes you wonder why they bothered releasing the game with the code as it came out in the first place. Well, we get back to what we were talking about earlier about premature release, maybe, for some of these titles. But if you 60th anyway, that had new code, but on the February the 23rd. But it's just bug fixes, and I don't think anybody's got the game anyway, so they wouldn't really know about it. So won't go into that. Right. The more cornerstone version of James Bond, which that came out with a new update on the 9th of February, which had quite a lot of changes to various features. There's nothing too significant. Lots of bug fixes and variations in the way that some of the existing features work. But unfortunately, didn't fix all the bugs in that 0.86. In fact, introduced a couple which caused the game to crash. So Stern, credit to them. As soon as they found out there were issues that causing the game to lock up, rushed out a quick new update, version 0.87, 2 days later. Seems like one of the coders got called get out of bed.
Yes, that's right.
You're not going home tonight until you fix this.
Well, you can't have games being operated and hanging or crashing. So no, so that's an emergency job to fix that. Right. So that's 0.87 on James Bond, and Godzilla 104 on the beginning of the month, 9th of February. Had quite a lot of changes. I won't go into them all because there's actually quite a few. But there's some lots of nice new light shows, some secret combos added, some city combos, and a new Carnage bonus. Was a problem with that where it wasn't getting ordered properly, and locks, some just lighting effects on that kind of thing, and some new system updates. So anyway, just basic stuff that everyone who's got a Godzilla should upgrade to the latest version in order to get those. And that's all the code updates from Stern Pinball for February.
Okay, so I have a little side note related to Stern Pinball and the James Bond 60th anniversary edition. Mm-hmm. Stern Pinball did release a flyer digitally, but according to sources, my sources within the company, they haven't printed it because it's a game that's only available in 500 units and they sold out immediately. So why bother printing a flyer for that? Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But the Dutch Pinball Association will actually be printing that flyer, albeit in an A-size format and not
Yeah,
the letter
A4,
size.
yeah.
Sorry, A4. And that will be included with the upcoming Spinner magazine. So collectors of flyers, well, they should probably, if you want that flyer to be part of your collection, then...
and it will presumably have the NFV logo on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it will. Yes, and the paper size is slightly different. But that's easy with that flyer because the background is back, so it's easy to.
Oh, right.
So anyway, so I just figured I mentioned that as well,
Jolly good.
So now we can move on to Pinball Brothers, I suppose.
Okay. Well,
before we do that,
okay.
You pointed out something to me which you completely have forgotten to mention to our listeners.
Have I? Oh, yes, you're right. Yes. Now, I was just going, because I upload all these pincasts to the Pinball News website, as I believe you do to the Pinball Magazine one as well.
Yeah, well, whenever I get to it.
Well, exactly, yeah. I try and do it as quickly as possible, but if you don't get them from our normal supply, then you can always get them from our respective websites. But in doing that, I was counting back and wondering how many of these particular pincasts we've done, excluding our special bonus ones, which tend to be interviews with various pinball personalities, luminaries, and famous people. And I noticed that this is our 60th anniversary pincast. This is number 60. So we've been doing this for 5 years as of today.
Oh, my God.
I know.
5 years wasted.
Yeah, well, we've only recorded them. I mean, if anybody's been listening to them for 5 years, I think they definitely deserve some kind of medal or psychiatric treatment or something, you know.
Then what do we give Gary Flower, who has been trying to get on our show for 5 years now?
You're right, he has. Well, I tell you what we should do. We should definitely make sure he gets on this episode.
Okay, well,
I mean,
Gary,
all episodes.
If you're listening,
of course he is.
Call in now and we'll get you on the show.
Straight on air, whatever we're doing at the time, we will stop and bring you into the pincast straight away. Okay, so there's the offer. Okay, I'm sure he will call in at some point during the program, but you will know when it happens, because we'll bring him to you straight away.
Pause automatically whatever we are talking about and get him on.
Absolutely right, and thank you for reminding me. Yes, yeah. I'd forgotten about. I'd forgotten that I'd forgotten. So yes. How good is that? But you were saying we were just moving on to Pinball Brothers. So,
right.
So Gary, if you want to call in now, it'll be a good time.
Okay. So, looking at the so I'm looking at a screen with Martin and I are both looking at the same screen on different computers. Of course, we're on in different countries actually as we record this.
Yes, isn't technology wonderful?
Yes, it is. So, Pinball Brothers Queen Pinball is their latest games. They've been shipping that out. It's available from various European distributors, I would say. Mm-hmm. And they did the first live stream of Queen from the Dutch Pinball Museum in Rotterdam, which was made possible by RS Pinball from Austria. And I believe that game is also now, at least for the upcoming weeks or months, part of the permanent collection of the Dutch Pinball Museum. So get that out of the way. And if you happen to be in the Netherlands and you want to play a Queen game, you can play it there. I believe Pinball Universe in Germany also has a model in their shop available to play. While that game is being built by Pedretti, I understood, and I'm not sure whether we understood it correctly, I thought that Pedretti and Pinball Brothers, who are sort of merging, already moved into their new facility. According to a post earlier last month, February, they are in the midst of moving, so there's still work to be done, apparently.
Yes.
There's some details on that new building. You mind sharing these with us?
Well, 1,500 square meters, apparently. This is the Euro Pinball Company headquarters, which is the joint venture between Pedretti Gaming and Pinball Brothers. And they say it'll give them increased factory space, and they say the production capacity you have all been waiting for. Well, there you go. We've all been waiting for it. Okay,
I wasn't aware I was waiting for it.
Well, it's so much bigger. You didn't even know you were waiting for it. But now you'll see that they will be able to increase the amount of space and manpower in order to produce between 80 and 120 games a month. So what's that? It's around about 20 to 30 games a week, I suppose.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
No, that's pretty good. So they have 2 assembly lines.
I know of other manufacturers who could take an example by that.
Well, yes, that's right. You've got 2 assembly lines, which seems to be a good number to have. They can run simultaneously to allow 2 different titles. So they could be doing Alien and Queen at the same time, or Queen and whatever the next title they're going to produce is.
Right.
And they say, stay tuned for lots of exciting things to come from our partnership. Okay, and they're just getting settled in at the moment and should be fully up to speed before too much longer. Although I don't want to put words in their mouth because I don't know their particular situation, but I think it's still the case that just about every manufacturer out there is struggling for parts at the moment. Okay.
Yeah.
That none of them are running at the capacity that they could be running at or want to be running at. They're still waiting for particularly electronic parts to come in. And those parts they do get are often very expensive and far more than they were originally planning. So there are a few companies, I think, and I don't want to name any of them in particular, who set a price for their games and are building them, but have seen huge increases in the price of the components and are having to swallow that, and maybe a little struggling in some aspects. But we will see price increases happening, I'm sure, and we may get onto that a little bit later in this particular PINcast. Right. In the meantime, we talk about Queen, so there's certainly been some new code for them that came out on the 15th of February.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I bet you were. Yeah. Quite a lot of changes, actually, and too many to go through all at once, but there are many improvements to lighting effects throughout the game, better end of ball bonus, choreography, quite a lot of bugs fixed, and many effects, sound effects and fanfares improved, and some changes to rules for multi-ball and various modes. So anyway, won't go through them all because it's too much.
Sounds like a lot of choreography changes to make the game.
It's polish, I think, at this stage. The basic game is there, and they're polishing it up and rounding off the rough edges to the game, which, fair enough. When you make changes to these things, you're bound to encounter a few issues, which and I'm sure owners of the game have been feeding back things that they would like to see change or tweaked in the game, and I'm sure Pinball Brothers are keen to make the game the best it can be, and there will be more updates coming soon.
Yeah, and speaking of updates, Alien also received a code update, 3.2, which changed video initialization to address the black screen issue on Power Up. I had no idea it was there, but apparently it was.
Yes, I've seen that before. Yeah, you turn the game on and the playfield monitor over the lock doesn't come up.
Okay. Well, it's been fixed.
Good. Let's hope it has. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that wraps it up for Spooky for Pedretti.
No, try again. Pinball Brothers.
Yeah. Pinball Brothers. Third time the charm. So, let's move on immediately to at least Gary.
No. Come on, Gary. Come on, hurry up.
So I say let's move on to Spooky Pinball.
I think that's a good idea. Yes, obviously, Scooby-Doo was announced last month, so we covered that in some depth. And now they have been busy building them, and the game is out there. Really, it's being delivered to buyers already. So congratulations to Spooky and to those people who were quick off the mark in ordering the game when it was announced, or when it went on sale, I should say. They are going to have a big display, they say, at the Texas Pinball Festival with lots of Scooby games, and also an actual mystery machine van will be there. And but before that, they will be at the Louisville Arcade Expo, which is taking place next weekend on the March the 10th to 11th, I think. And they'll be there with a big bunch of Scooby games as well. So if you haven't had a chance to play the game yet, and I suspect most people haven't, and you are available to go to the Louisville Arcade Expo, then that's the place to get your fill of Scooby-Doo. Where are you?
Right. So, and in the meantime, while you were saying this, I checked the Spooky Pinball shop.
Oh.
Scooby-Doo apparently is still not sold out. So if you're interested in the game, you might still be able to get one.
Oh, okay. That's what was it limited to? Was it 1,500 or?
No.
It's 1969 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
yes,
that's right. The year that it premiered.
The cartoon. Yeah. So, so understandably that they are bringing the game to shows.
Yes,
and if you like the game, you might still be able to buy one, which is different than with a lot of previous Spooky games. So, trying to turn a negative into a positive here.
I wonder how long the wait will be from placing an order now to actually getting your game.
That's a good one. I don't recall seeing any estimates, although I do have to say Spooky, they did the run for Halloween and Ultraman in a little over a year, I'd say. So if you're if you're late ordering the game, then you might be waiting a year for it. But with the production limited to less than 2,000, well, unless something bad happens, production might stall. But from the way that it looks now, maybe a year and a half.
A 1 year wait is not unusual these days, and some people have been waiting significantly longer, particularly if you order the Cactus Canyon limited edition, for instance.
Yeah, which has partly to do with parts not being available.
Yeah, exactly, as I was saying earlier. Yeah.
So, but up and running, Spooky Pinball, and good luck promoting the game, and we hope to see them at the Texas Pinball Festival, of course. Absolutely.
Well, it sounds like they're going to have a big display there and go large on Scooby. So, look forward to seeing that. And they've also got some other things for sale as well, apart from games. Is that right?
Is that right?
I understand there's some playfields that might be.
Right. Yeah. No. Not sure if they still have any left, but I understood that there are some seconds playfields, which are basically they have a few minor scratches or stuff like that. So, and they were selling these in their Spooky shop, and not sure whether they sold out yet. Didn't keep an eye on that. It was early February, I think.
Yeah, well, head on over to spookypinball.com and have a look in their web shop, see if they've got a bargain.
Make sure that you have the right website, because I think there's still two floating around, the new one and the old one.
Oh, really? Still? Oh,
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, so, but, we're talking about a big display at the Texas Pinball Festival. One company always known to do so is Multimorphic.
That's right, yes. So, their home show, pretty much, being based down towards Austin at Round Rock. And they've traditionally had a very impressive display of, starting off with homebrew games before Multimorphics really started making much of their own P3 games. But since the P3's been out there, I think every year their display has been getting bigger and better. And the number of machines, I think, was at least 8, maybe 10 machines some years they have at the Texas show. including some head-to-head games. I remember the CCR, Cosmic Kart Racing game, for instance, head-to-head games there, looking very impressive.
Yeah, but of course, they're connected through internet games.
Yeah, that's right. And now, of course, they've got a large repertoire of playfield modules for the P3 and games to go with them, and they have been teasing their next one as well.
Yes. So we're still in the middle of production of Weird Al Museum of Natural Hilarity, in case you were wondering.
Yes,
but there's a teaser out there for an upcoming playfield module and game that goes with it, with Scott Denisi, who everybody loves for Total Nuclear Annihilation and Rick and Morty, where he has been appointed creative director, sound designer, and music composer. So it's going to sound like TNA, but the creative director, in a recent video, I think it was Stephen Silver who said that they don't really have playfield designers at Multimorphic because, well, 2/3 of the playfield is already designed, and that's the same for every game. That's the bottom 2/3 of the playfield. It's only the playfield module that can be designed, and that's where all the creativity has to take place. So, but
there is the potential to put some things over the lower part of the playfield. We've seen that before with cross playfield, and also extra flippers as well down there.
Yeah, true. So, but of course, Scott Denisi is not working alone on this game. He's helped a lot by Bowen Kerrans for rules, Michael Ocean doing the programming of the game, Rory Cermuda, or Cermuda, I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
I believe.
Yeah, okay. Video graphics. TJ Weaver, who is a very popular mechanical engineer.
Yeah, works on pretty much all their games, I think.
Yeah. And Jonathan Bergeron is the artist for the game. So he does the artwork for on the, I suppose, playfield and display.
And also the cabinet panels, the magnetic panels they can put on the side as well.
So, and what I remember watching the teaser video, which had some TNA style of music, I would say, a typical Scott Denisi electronic music on it, under it. So that's what's coming. The only other thing that we know about this teaser video is that the game has a code name, which is Carbon.
And it's an original theme as well. It's not licensed.
So, and of course, with Texas Pinball Festival coming up, we're expecting this game at least to be available and possibly be reviewed ahead of Texas Pinball Festival. So.
Yes, I think Multimorphic have a seminar slot on Friday night. So that's the point at which we would expect it to be revealed, if it hasn't been done before. But and to say they are teasing various aspects of it, as everybody is now. So whether the whole game will be revealed before Texas, and that will be the first chance to play it, or whether it will, the whole thing will be revealed there, we don't know. But that does seem to be a popular place to reveal your games, as we will talk about in a few minutes.
Right. So, in the meantime, I'm trying to look up the events for Texas Pinball Festival to see who else are doing seminars on Friday.
Well, I know one company who certainly is, who we are going to talk about a little bit later. We can talk about them now, if you like. And that is American Pinball, who have a 5 p.m. slot on Friday, which was not saying they've taken it from anybody else, but that used to be our slot, didn't it? Or was it at 6 o'clock on Friday?
No, it used to be at 6.
You're right. Well, it used to be the first of the seminars.
Yeah, we used to basically open the show.
Yeah, in the bar. which is the best place to open it, to be honest. And but now there's so many seminars going on that the American Pinball are before that at 5:00, which is the same time, I think, as the hall opens.
Yes,
to the public.
That is correct. Yes.
So I suspect American Pinball will be revealing a game during their seminar, if they haven't already revealed it by that stage, and then when the hall opens, people will be able to play it. Right. I think what happened before is they've shown a game, and then once it's been shown in the seminar, then it gets rolled out to their stand within the main hall, and then people can play it.
Right.
So it seems like a good way of doing it, but this is not confirmed. But anyway, talking about game,
they have
we're
been
getting ahead of ourselves a bit.
Well, they have been teasing a new game that started with a teaser image, followed by a video. The teaser image also contained a new logo for American Pinball, which on their website has not been incorporated yet, but.
No, as I understand it, this new logo is designed by Christopher Franchi, who is doing the artwork on this new game. Right. I mean, I don't think he didn't do the animation; somebody else did the animation of it, but it's certainly his design. It's typically American. It's a nice sort of badge design. I think it works well, and it took up as I'd say at least as much time in the first teaser as the actual information about the game. Yeah, which didn't really say anything very much. But
well, okay, I'll let you discuss what it said.
Well, that was the first. That was the first tease, but then there was a second tease, which was more informative about the game and revealed which actors would be appearing in it. Now, it's interesting that American Pinball just say Game 5. They don't refer to the title of the game at
that point, yes.
No, and they go through and say, we're revealing Game 5, and then they list 4 actors who are taking part in it. And then at the end, they say it's all fun for all the family and all that kind of stuff. And then at the very end, it's just a copyright line which says trademark Galactic Tank Force, right? American Pinball. And you think, okay, so you've revealed the title. Why didn't you put it in the teaser rather than saying Game 5? You've told us what it is.
So from now on, we can refer to it as Galactic Tank Force.
Yes.
Which is interesting because, you and I have visited Dennis Nordman years ago at his home. And at that point, he already was working on a tank game. Yes,
he and Paul Reno together were working in Dennis's garage on a couple of games, one of which went on to be the baseball game, which was produced by Valley Dynamo briefly.
Right.
And the other one of which was this tank game, which you were just talking about. And that seems to be what... or a version of that has ended up as American Pinball now.
A new iteration, yes. Which will have a non-standard cabinet, let's call it that.
Well, it'll have, I'm not sure how non-standard it'll be, whether it will be an add-on to a standard cabinet to make it more tanky, which is the idea. When we went to see it, the idea was that when the back box was folded down, it looked like a tank.
Right.
Okay, it kind of had a turret shape for the back box and a general sort of tank shape to it. But how often is the back box folded down on a game?
That's
when
true.
you're shipping it, and that's about it.
But then you put the game on its back anyway, so it's an upright tank, which doesn't make sense.
Anyway, we'll see. We will wait to see exactly how it turns out. But it does seem to have sort of like side panels on the cabinet, which look more like the sort of tracks that would be on a tank.
Right.
So it has more of a tank profile to it. But I'm not sure whether that's going to be on every game or whether it's going to be on the higher end games or available as an add-on, if that's what you wish to purchase as almost like a topper but a cider, if you like.
So anyway, we do know the game is designed by Dennis Nordman.
Yes, we do, with artwork by Christopher French. Yeah,
artwork by Christopher French, indeed. I don't know who's doing video. Interestingly, Josh Kugler mentioned on Pinside that he has, although he hasn't been working for American Pinball for almost a year now, he was very involved in the development of the game up to the point where he was let go. So, sounds to me like he's still not too pleased that he is no longer part of that company or the game design team.
Yeah, surprising.
But it he was very positive about the Galactic Tank Force game design. So, and I'm trying to look up in my notes in the meantime. I can't do two things at the same time. You know how that goes. So,
yeah. Well, the interesting thing I thought was in the tease, the most recent tease, there was, as I said before, it listed 4 actors who were appearing in the game, and I assumed that they would be voice actors. But having put that in my original article on the Pinball News site, I was contacted by American Pinball and said they're not just voice actors. So after a little back and forth, it turns out they are actually doing almost sort of like live action character acting within the game, which to me, as far as I can remember, is a first. I can't think of a game where you've actually got video assets of original characters being played by actors and basically playing out the story on the screen for you.
Okay, well, that's interesting indeed.
Not as cartoon or treated versions or motion capture, but actually, videoed characters. Right, videoed actors, I should say.
Or is this actors with sensors on their body and moving in a certain way that
no, it's not motion capture. No.
Okay.
No, they are actually acting. Ooh. So I think to me that's interesting. I remember certain video games that have been like that. There was sort of like a holographic game where you had characters or actors in a sort of very sort of circular arena playing out roles. Which I think was done with a Laserdisc back then. This is going back into the, I don't know what, the early 90s, I suppose, or maybe late 80s. But, we haven't had video screens in pinballs for that long. But this seems like a new development. I'd be very interested to see how it plays out and make sure it doesn't get old. That's all.
There's a very good reason why this is a new element. This is an original theme, so There's no footage available. So you have to be creative and think of how can you get footage to put on a screen. And this is one way to do it.
Yeah, well, that's one of the big challenges of having an original theme, is to actually build up some characters within it that you feel attached to or care about and want to interact with. So hopefully they will be suitably engaging, shall I say, and you feel as if you're part of the story rather than you're watching a play being played out in front of you.
Right. Okay. So it depends on how good you can play, of course.
No, well, yeah, that's true. How far through it you get, but certainly plenty of options. And as we've seen before, we heard before, when people record voice calls for games, they tend to do the same types of calls in multiple different ways, so it doesn't get boring. Repeating the same. Yeah, say extra ball, all that kind of stuff.
Extra ball!
Exactly. Well, not like that, maybe, but but they always tend to do things in multiple different ways, so they can do different versions of it all the way through. But if you have to do all that in acting as well, you wonder whether that, particularly if you're interacting with another character, if you're doing 2 people in a scene, it's a lot harder to do the same kind of scene multiple different ways. But anyway, we'll see what they come up with, because this is going to be a groundbreaking game, I think. But we'll probably have to wait.
Yeah, well, not too long, because apparently there is a teaser scheduled for this Saturday, which is today. So, we haven't seen it yet, of course, because we're ahead in Europe of American hours, and this podcast will be released before the teaser becomes available. But there will be a new teaser today, so check
I'm
check
not
out.
sure it's going to be a video, though. I think it might be more informational. Shall we say?
Sounds like you know more.
Well, no, I just been told that it may not be a video. I think, but when I was told, I'm not sure it was necessarily.
I'm just referring to it as a teaser.
Yes,
it could be anything.
Teaser. Yeah, it's all the rage these days, putting out teasers.
Yeah, keep an eye on the American Pinball Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff, and you'll find out soon enough, I suppose.
Absolutely, if not already there. So that was, I think that's pretty much covered everything from American Pinball. We did jump around a little bit because we were talking about reveals at Texas show.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So they are there at. They will be there at 5 o'clock on Friday, I believe.
So, I think. Moving on to Jersey Jack Pinball.
Yes.
In the meantime, I'm checking my phone to see if Gary. But I have no missed calls. My sound is on.
No.
So, Gary, we're ready for you anytime you want to call.
Yeah, don't leave it that long though, because we tend to sort of rush through this stuff, believe it or not. Although we've probably been going for about half an hour already, but we'll keep saying we're going to rush. So let's rush. As you say, Jersey Jack Pinball.
No, not rush. Rush is a Stern title.
Oh no! Oh my God!
Jersey Jack Pinball.
Very good. Okay, let's amble along then to Jersey Jack Pinball, and yes, just today. In fact,
actually,
just as we were coming
minutes before we started recording this Pincast, Jersey Jack confirmed, after teasing already a little bit with photos of Eric Meunier and the underside of a playfield, which I'll let you talk about in a second. They confirmed that their upcoming title will be The Godfather 50 Years.
Yeah, they had two teasers already, saying take your place at the table originally, which made people wonder whether it was a Harry Potter theme or not, because obviously the dining hall there at Hogwarts is a major part of an activity in those movies and books. But no, I think people then came to the conclusion it probably is The Godfather. And then we saw one saying take your place at the table on the 7th, I should say, 7th of March.
Yeah.
Reading American dates, of course, 3rd of the 7th, 23.
Yeah, so, and in the meantime, it's been confirmed that the review will be at noon Eastern Standard Time.
Yep, that's right, on Tuesday, March the 7th. So,
yes.
So that will be Eastern Standard. That'll be 6 p.m. European time, 5 p.m. UK time. For those keeping track. So,
right. And the good news.
There's good news. It's free.
Well,
no,
it's not free.
Oh.
But apparently they have been building the game already.
Yeah,
in the factory, right. There will be units available immediately for purchase upon launch.
Yeah, games in boxes ready to ship. It's going to be an amazing day. They say. Are you ready to join the family?
Which is very appropriate, and it's interesting. Of course, The Godfather is a mafia theme franchise, I'd say.
Yeah.
But well, if you look at the repertoire of games that Jersey Jack has done, they always said that they are family oriented.
Yes, that's right.
But what's more family oriented than mafia?
It's the family. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes, one big family.
So
it'd be interesting to see the treatment they give of that, because obviously with games like Guns N' Roses, they went a little more away from that family-friendly.
Well, what's interesting
idea.
is in the video, the teaser video that confirmed Godfather, is where that the main melody of the theme music was actually played on an electric guitar, which is different than it is in the movies.
That's
so
right.
It's a little pepper, spicy version of the theme.
Well, it did make you wonder whether it was Slash playing it.
Oh, well, might very well be.
It was quite a raunchy electric guitar, and I did wonder, obviously Slash has got Slash and Eric Munier, who's designing it, I guess.
Yeah, good relationship.
Good relationship. Yeah, did he do some music for this game?
Could be. Very interesting observation, Martin. Thank you for that.
It's pure speculation at the moment, but that's what we like. No, we don't. We're more about the facts. But anyway, yes, you mentioned about the picture of Eric next to an upside-down playfield. And I saw that, and I immediately looked at that and thought, oh, my God, the sheer amount of cables under that playfield is just... Well, it's awful, really. If you had to try and fault find, or if you had to try and find a wire that's off, or change a solenoid, or change a light, or anything under that, good luck to you, because I don't fancy that. It's a real rat's nest of cables under there. And I'm comparing that to games like Queen, and that we've seen underneath the playfield on that, and there's just a few circuit boards, or Cactus Canyon.
It might have been a prototype playfield. We don't know that.
Well, it looks like it's one that was on the production line. And I think a little bit later on, there was another picture of Eric standing next to a whole series of those playfields on their rotisseries. And there's still a huge amount of wiring on those games. Maybe not as much, but there is a lot.
They're still in progress of adding more wiring.
Well, probably are, yes. Yeah, I thought... Wow, I wouldn't fancy working on that, and I must add to the weight of the game as well. So I think,
I think the Facebook page of Jersey Jack Pinball also mentioned that this game has like 4,501 different parts in it.
Right, is that a good thing?
I'm not sure whether. Well, it keeps the workers busy on the line, I suppose.
Well, as I say, it's the one part you haven't got that's the most important part of the game. So if you've got 4,501 of them and you've only got 4,500 parts in stock, the game doesn't get made.
I wonder if there's going to be any special promotions if you want to buy the game.
What, at a show? Or
No, I'm waiting for an offer.
Oh, very good. Yes. Oh dear. It's come to that, is it? Right. Well, okay, I guess what happens after 60 of these pincasts.
Yeah. Still no Gary, by the way.
No. Oh, okay. Well, you obviously found a better offer then. But obviously we were an offer he could refuse. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Moving on, okay. Yeah. So, I'm scrolling up back to the top of the list. Smaller companies now, not so much news, but we'll tackle them one by one. Chicago Gaming.
Ah, yes. Well, we've permanently talking about rumours with them. I hear they're still having production problems with Cactus Canyon Limited Edition, and they're still very slow at producing those.
Right.
No inside information as to why that is, or what's likely to change about it, but it seems to be some parts that they are unable to, or finding difficulty in sourcing, so put it that way.
Right, okay.
So that's a shame, because a lot of people bought the game, a lot of people want the game, but it's a great game. So,
anticipation is also a present, I suppose.
It is, but how long do you wait? You're waiting 2 years for a game since ordering it.
Well,
all these other games come and go.
It's nothing. I've been waiting 8 years for a game and I still haven't got it.
That's true. On the plus side, like you, your price was locked in at the time that you ordered it.
True.
So when it actually does arrive, it'll probably be a bargain.
By the time it arrives, it's probably at least worth double what I paid for it.
Yeah, there you go. So it's an appreciating asset, even though it doesn't actually exist yet.
Yeah. So anyway, so we don't discuss rumors, but here's one. This is actually the same rumor that was already going around when we had Pinball Expo in October. Where Chicago, Chicago Gaming is supposedly the contract manufacturer for Raw Thrills, who designed a Pulp Fiction themed pinball machine, which was apparently supposed to be revealed at Pinball Expo. Nothing happened, and now we had the same thing for Texas Pinball Festival.
I think we also almost covered this last time as well, didn't we? We were speculating on Mark Ritchie's professional relationship with Ed Van Levine and the fact they've done games before, prototype games or sample or concept games, yes, in the past. And Texas would be a good place to reveal that. But no, we got no confirmation of that yet. No. And if Chicago Gaming are struggling for parts for their own games, maybe they're not in a position to be making games for other people yet.
Right. So
yeah, but anyway, we'll see.
But there is a relationship between Raw Thrills and Chicago Gaming, as Raw Thrills is, of course, designing arcade video games, which are usually manufactured, or at least the cabinets are manufactured by Chicago Gaming.
Yeah, or Churchill Cabinets. I don't know which particular company of theirs actually does it. But the good news is that in our next PINcast, our 61st, which will look back at the month of March, which we're currently in, we will be able to tell you whether or not Pulp Fiction was indeed revealed at the Texas Pinball Show.
Right.
Festival, anyway.
And what we do know is people have seen photos of the game. It's a single-level game. By demand of Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
It has to look like an 80s type pinball machine. So.
Yeah, although there were obviously multi-level games in the 80s, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Let's not get into that. It is what it is, and hopefully we'll get to see it before too much longer.
Right.
Tune in next month and find out whether or not it was revealed or not.
Yeah. So now, talking about things we'd like to see, let's switch on to Homepin in Taiwan. Yeah. Because one thing that we haven't seen for quite some time is this is Spinal Tap. And in our previous PINcast, our 59th, I quoted Mike Kalinowski, who responded to me after questions I asked about how come we haven't seen This is Spinal Tap. But since then we've had Chinese New Year.
They had a big holiday there, didn't they, where people were stopped working for a long time.
Yeah, so the only news that we got is a couple of pictures of drop target brackets and the new soldering extraction system.
At the Home Pin factory in Taiwan, but absolutely nothing about Spinal Tap game, about its availability, whether it's back in production, when it will be in production, or where we'll be able to play it. I mean, it's still at the Las Vegas Pinball Hall of Fame. If you're headed that way or going to be over there, that will give you a chance to play it. But as far as I know, that's probably about the only place we can play it publicly outside of any specific shows. And we don't know of any more shows where it's going to be appearing yet.
Yeah, although I would suggest the Texas Pinball Festival.
Well, you think so, wouldn't you? But if there are no games, then is it going to be there? If the only games they're only built to, then we know there were two in Australia for the Pinfest show.
Well, that one game got to the Pinball Hall of Fame, so
yeah,
there might be more.
Well, let's not speculate, but it'd be nice to be able to see one at Texas Show, or indeed at the Midwest Gaming Classic the following weekend. Which will be around about the same time we'll be doing our next PINcast. But
so, now, speaking of timing, as we were earlier on,
yes.
I mean, just it's not a stab or anything, but if This is Spinal Tap and you're up against Foo Fighters, I'm not sure I like the position of Spinal Tap at this point. Could still be a fun game. Different music, different band. So don't get me wrong, I don't want to knock down This is Spinal Tap, but looks like Stern went all out with Foo Fighters, and not sure whether that's the case with this is Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap, obviously a very different type of theme, music based. Well, it's a band pin, but it's also more about the humour, I would like to think, in the game. We don't know. I would think Foo Fighters would have quite a lot of humour in it as well, but of different type, more cartoony type humour. Whereas, as we know, Spinal Tap is based on the film, so it's going to be live actors and clips from the film. Whereas Foo Fighters is all custom made animations for the game. Right. So a different feel, but and of course we don't know what the prices are going to be either, because
that might be very competitive.
Yeah, when Thunderbirds came out, that was a very, very competitive price on the game. Not a great game. I don't think anybody's going to suggest it was, but it was good value. And is Spinal Tap going to be similar or not? That's what we'll wait to see. Prices have gone up, globally since then. How much will that be impacted on Homepin and their products? Yep.
So my phone lit up, but no Gary.
No. Okay.
So I'm any minute now.
Yep.
So, in the meantime, Pinball Adventures, Canada.
Yes.
Canada.
Factory. That's what we're
talking about. A company that might be looking for a spot to launch their game. How about the Texas Pinball Festival?
I don't believe they have a seminar booked, but that may change. And it's not exactly their closest show either, being in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. But you think Midwest Gaming Classic would be more appropriate for that, or even Expo.
Right.
But we've been waiting for Punny Factory to make an appearance.
I've been waiting
for a game like you. Yes. Well, all we get is more Instagram pictures.
A game like me.
and videos. And this time we've got more this month, including a video showing the instruction card for Punny Factory. So if you want to know how to play the game, if you ever do get to see one, then you can go to Instagram, search for Pinball Adventures, and you will be able to watch their video. You will be able to watch a video of Andrew as well, revealing that he has 6 children, apparently.
And a dog.
Yeah. And no pinballs, so it would seem.
Yeah. And then it still looks like the playfields are being put together in the offices.
Yeah. I don't want to be all negative about it, because there's some good news, because I did get to see the playfield for Elements.
Which is the second game.
Which is the second game.
If we ever get to
if we get the first one.
Yeah.
It may end up being the first game, I don't know. But I'm sure Punny Factory will get made, but I suspect it will be in very limited quantities. But Elements looks like a much more interesting playfield, and has a lot more potential for interesting rules and features on the playfield. I'll say no more at the moment, because I don't want to preempt how it might end up turning out, but that would be my best bet for Pinball Adventures. I think it's probably one of the better games, and I was also surprised to see that they are. I think they're still going ahead with. Is it Sushi Factory? Is that one of their games?
Sushi Mania.
Sushi Mania, correct? Yeah, I thought that had been canned, as it were, been dropped because of
canned sushi. That's not good.
I know, because of stereotypical racial overtones to the artwork or the theme.
Oh, come on, those are the funniest.
Well, maybe once.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a racist, but
too late.
If certain type of people have certain characteristics in their appearance, I'm not saying you should make fun of it, but
also it's not necessarily stereotypical. It could just be a character. Right. It doesn't necessarily that imply that all people of that race have the same characteristics.
No, exactly. So
thank God we're not all like us. You know.
No, there's already too many.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so I can see that game appears to be going ahead. And so I thought it had been dropped. I didn't think it was on the list of upcoming titles, but there is a playfield for it.
Okay, great, but let's first see whether we get to see the first two games.
Yes, I know, but it's not like planning ahead.
Yeah, okay. So, from one small company to another, Pedretti Gaming, although they merged with Pinball Brothers, you have some news on that as well.
Yes, I think I can safely say that the next 2.0 game is going to be announced within the next week or two. Probably 2 weeks. And
to explain to our listeners, 2.0 game, we mean a new version of a Williams System 11 title with a new display panel, display speakers, upgrade kits. So you still have the same playfield, but complete new rule set for such game.
Yeah, it's as we know, Pedretti brought out a Funhouse 2.0 kit called Rudy's Nightmare, and this is their second such kit. The first one included a playfield monitor, which replaced the mirror that was on the Funhouse, and as well as a new speaker panel with an LCD display, back glass, various decals, I think, in a cabinet, artwork, things like that. Yeah. And so the and a topper, of course, came out for that as well afterwards.
Yes. Yes.
So there's a new version, a new game, getting the 2.0 treatment. I expect that to be available at the Texas Pinball Festival for people to enjoy. Well, that we'll have to wait and see. But it should the details of it should be announced, I say, in next week or two. I think, subject to. I think they want to have a clear gap where nobody else is announcing games at the same time.
Oh, well, that's going to be difficult.
Well, it is, now that Jersey Jack have just announced they're going to be announcing their Godfather game, or revealing their Godfather game on the 7th. So, and the Texas show starts on the 23rd, so I'm guessing a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah. Okay, well, there's still a couple of days left that nobody's announcing again.
So far,
so,
yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. So
we've still got see whether Multimorphic are going to announce their game as well. So there's a lot going on, but
exciting times.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting, and it's a bit of a run. I can't remember having this kind of sheer number of different game announcements within a space of a few weeks. Everybody seems to be hurrying to get them ready for the Texas show.
In the 80s, this was common industry. In the sense that it was very normal, but we didn't cover the pinball industry like we do now, back then.
True, yeah. But how many manufacturers were there back then?
Well, we had Bally, we had Williams, we had Gottlieb, we had smaller ones like Game Plan.
Yeah, well, I suppose those launches would have been more around industry events rather than collector shows.
But they were doing like 4, 5, 6 games a year. Some of them.
Some were, yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So, and then, if Bally was doing 5 games a year and Williams was doing, that's already 10 games a year. And then Gottlieb did 2 or 3. And then the smaller ones had at least 1.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know for sure, but I suspect they didn't have the same kind of make the same kind of fuss about the reveals that they did, because they were more to the industry than they were to collectors. So they would have been in the trade magazines and newspapers and things like that, and through distributor promotions rather than big internet launches, which was as that didn't exist.
Right. So anyway,
yeah.
Getting back to Pedretti.
Yes, that's right. I think we pretty much. Oh yes, we were. We could talk about something we mentioned before, which is about a Big Bang Bar remake. which it's...
Actually, we didn't mention that before, but...
we mentioned it. I think we mentioned it in more vague terms, but I think it's sort of firming up now that Pedretti might be the company that would be involved in making that game if it were to be remade. Now, I know no information that it's any more likely to be made now than it has been in the past year, but it's. I don't think, from what I've heard, that there's going to be any movement on that anytime soon. Okay, I think it's a bit locked down in sorting out the detail, shall we say? And until then, everything seems to be on hold. So, no, don't expect that to be revealed imminently. That's all I would say about that.
Right. Okay. So,
do you have anything to add about that?
I hear lots of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Talking about hearing lots of things. Any phone lighting up or anything yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
We're not hearing
Gary,
that.
Any time is good. You know, we're waiting for you.
Well, it's 60s,
we're stalling here to get you on.
Well, don't make it too obvious. Yes. Okay. Well, let's not stop stalling and move on to Dutch Pinball and some news from them.
Yeah.
Good
they
news,
increased,
is it?
Well, that depends on the way you look at it. Apparently, the price for a new Big Lebowski has increased by $500.
Oh.
So the game now costs $13,500 at Coin Taker.
I think someone should go, how much? But that's
what?
That's more your realm of responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to well, at least buy the illusion of ever owning one.
Yeah, 13,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but it is considered one of the best games of the past decade, I would say.
Okay. Well, it's got stiff competition now, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No argument there. But that's actually the only news from Dutch Pinball. I didn't get a chance to reach out to Barry, so I don't know whether he would have any news. If there is, then I'll make sure to note it down in the Pinball Magazine newsletter.
Yes, we're waiting for that.
Which will be coming out shortly, covering 6 weeks of pinball news.
Wow, it'll be more like a book. Okay, right.
I'm going to summarize a lot of it, so it's not going to be that lengthy of a read. So.
Okay. Well, talking of sagas, let's just touch on the Deep Root Pinball story, which nothing much is happening with that, as tends to be the case these days. But there is a civil case against Robert Mueller, owner of the whole Deep Root family of companies. That's coming to court in October, or scheduled to come to court in October. Whether it will or not, these legal procedures can easily be pushed back. There's a new fraud specialist has been brought in by the SEC in the case against Robert to advise them. Apparently, somebody who's had a lot of good results in, should we say, similar cases.
But is he going to the specialist? Is he going to be in Robert's corner or the SEC's corner?
No, definitely the SEC's corner to help them in their case against him.
Okay.
And I think I mentioned maybe it was last month, or if not the month before, about how the bankruptcy attorney had been, or in fact, I think it was a bankruptcy attorney, had been going after some of the advisors who had been selling Deep Root funds, or at least one particular company, in order to get some money back from them, and they'd been forced to repay a significant amount. Well, apparently they're going after any financial advisors who sold investments in Deep Root funds in order to recover the commission that they were paid as part of the bankruptcy settlement, so that those who are owed money can get that back. So
Okay.
that's about all the news I have from Deep Root Pinball this month. So we should probably move on to, well, I don't know. There's not an awful lot more news around, but
well, we listed all the companies. We have Bitronic in Spain, who are not very communicative, I would say, regarding their the production of their Super Hoop game, or Tokyo Perfect Drift, for that matter, which is supposed to follow up the Super Hoop game. SDR Pinball, I don't think we should even mention anymore, because they used to be a contract manufacturer and they only built like half a game and that was it. Quetzal Pinball, well, still related to Bitronic, I'd say, but no news there. You have some news from Haggis Pinball, I believe.
Well, there was a bit of a concern, I should say, that people weren't getting their games at all for a while, and that maybe there were bigger problems with the company. But it's good news that people are still getting their games, albeit very slowly. I think they too, as we've seen from other companies, are having problems with supply of electronics and very large increases in the price of some of the components. I know quite a lot of the circuit boards, if you can get them, have doubled or tripled in price, which obviously puts a bit of a squeeze on your margins when you're selling, or you price your game at a certain level when you first sell it, and then suddenly find that halfway through, or even 10% through your run, or the price of all your components has doubled. Right. Then suddenly you haven't got the money, or you're not making any money on your games anymore.
Right. Well, that's the tricky part of having a production run that lasts like an hour, a year, or a year and a half.
Or not having the sufficient funds to buy all your parts up front. Right. Should be the other way of doing it, of hedging against that, or having some kind of insurance. But I think this is fairly small scale production, and they're not really into doing that at this stage. But hopefully, lessons learned, and hopefully it hasn't impacted so badly on them that they're unable to continue. But as I say, people do seem to be getting their games, albeit very slowly. So congratulations to those people who have been getting their Fathom reviews.
Oh yeah,
games.
It's a beautiful game if you get one.
Yeah, everybody who seems to get them, gets them, seem to be overwhelmed by the quality of the build. So all power to Haggis. Hope they keep pumping out games. Hope they can pick up speed, and good luck to those people who have ordered.
Right.
Oh, I thought you're pausing because your phone was ringing.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
Okay.
It's still on, by the way, and it's not like it.
No. We will know.
Anything, no.
Well, no, it hasn't crashed or doing an update or anything. We've had that happen in the past,
Oh yeah, we've had the weird stuff happen. With
Gary.
No.
Well, there you go. Well, I'm sure we will in the future as well. So
we can do a special episode on that.
You do a highlight or lowlights. I don't know whether it will be. So we haven't mentioned about Circus Maximus yet. I think you found some news there.
Well, apparently, Circus Maximus is apparently working on the remake of Kingpin. The only news that surfaced on Nap Arcade, kudos to them for finding this out by doing a search on trademarks, is that a Dutch person apparently filed a trademark for the term Kingpin for the use on pinball and clothing. And that's about all we know.
Okay. I mean, you and I both heard, I think it's fair to say, that I don't want to call them rumours, but suggestions that Circus Maximus actually don't have the right to make the Kingpin game. They don't have the license for it.
Well, the license, it's a Capcom title, and apparently when Capcom stopped their pinball division, lots of things were lost, including records of who owns what, and so that means many people can claim that they have rights, And I'm not sure whether that is going to make things easier or difficult, or.
Well, I think it makes things more difficult because you have to cover all your bases. You have to make sure that if you do sell this game, that somebody's not going to come after you later and say, "Hang on, I had the rights to that, and I'm going to sue you," because even if they haven't. The fact that they sue you means you've then got to put up a defence and pay lawyers and all that kind of stuff, and who wants to go through all that? We're basically getting back to the whole Big Bang Bar situation again. If it's all unclear who owns what, the easiest and the best thing to do is nothing, isn't it? Because if you do anything, you're going to put yourself in the firing line for a lawsuit from someone. So... Unfortunately,
in this case, regarding to Kingpin, you might be better off calling the game Pin King.
Yeah, and they get sued by whoever thinks they own the rights to the playfield design, although it's claimed you can't copyright a playfield design.
Apparently not. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's you always get to the point where you wonder whether it's worth pursuing all these old titles and just move on, design new stuff.
Yeah, well,
things have changed. Technology has moved on. You can have a lot more assets in the game than you could back then. Do you want to keep making stuff from the past? Although it seems to be doing pretty well for Chicago.
There is definitely a market. So
there is,
and if you're a startup company, you don't have to invent the wheel yourself entirely. Although it's quite a process to actually get an existing game in production, so especially if you have to start from zero. So,
yeah, okay.
I don't know. So
let's move on anyway. Other news. I've got some other news.
Yes, other news. I got an email from Cardona Pinball Designs.
Oh, plural. I like that.
Yeah. And you might be familiar with. A re-theme of No Good Gophers from a couple of years ago, which was called...
that rings a bell.
Battle for the Green. And that had an LCD with some animations with the bear and...
Oh, God, yes. They were pretty... As far as I recall, they were pretty ropey animations at the time. Maybe that was a prototype.
I'm not judging.
Game.
So
it wasn't production quality then.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Battle for the Green kits apparently are now for sale with Planetary Pinball.
Oh, okay. So it's been licensed.
Okay. I suppose so. Yes. And I have no idea how they managed to do that, but. I don't need to know. And there's a website you can go to, which is cardonapinball.com, which has the game for sale, or the kit, I should say. Mm-hmm. And the kit includes a speaker panel with two 4-inch speakers, and an industrial 15.6-inch monitor, LCD that is, I suppose.
That's a big monitor.
With the associated cabling, a fast interface controller board, which needs to be installed at the location of the CPU of the game, which is going to be replaced. So, a CPU panel that includes fast audio and accessory controller and associated cabling to be installed in the removed audio video board locations. And so basically you're ending up with taking out your board set and replacing it with the
fast pinball system. Right. Yeah. So, which is mandatory now, I think, for version 2.0 games. Yeah. Isn't it?
So you also get a power supply and a fuse block with associated cabling. And last but not least, a full set of apron instruction cards.
I think that's probably least, but yeah, okay.
So, and there's a note as well. If you're in Europe and you think, oh, that's cool, or Australia for that matter, Apparently, the kit can only be sold in the United States due to the 110 volts power that this kit needs to run on. It doesn't run on 220 volts, apparently.
Oh, right. Well, presumably, I guess you could install a step-down transformer.
No idea.
Within the game somewhere. I think it's. I read it said it plugs into the service outlet, which obviously wasn't a standard feature on all games. But if it uses mains power, it could be wired in. I'm sure it can, and there are plenty of ways of getting 110 or 120 volts, 20 volt supplies to power this kind of thing. So.
Right.
But if you do that kind of thing, then I suppose it probably won't be covered under any kind of warranty. But so how much does this thing cost?
Minus $1, $2,000.
Oh,
$1,999. So and for me, it's been too long since I watched the video of this kit, but it's out there on YouTube. It's actually also on the Cardona Pinball website. So if you're interested, take a look at that if you want to upgrade your No Good Govers game.
Okay, that's interesting.
Now, Cardona, that sounds a little bit Italian. And as it happens...
Oh, that's a bit of a stretch. But go on. We're all rooting.
Don't want to sound too racist, but I have some news from Italy. There is actually a new pinball museum opening in Italy.
There is?
Yes. And one of the people behind it is Alessio Cristantemi from Gioco News, who has a printed publication which is more for the amusement industry, I would say.
And gaming and gambling.
And gaming, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's very enthusiastic about pinball still. Whenever he's in Europe, he's always, Italy is in Europe, but whenever he's doing a trade show outside of Italy, he's always asking whether I'm coming as well. And a very nice person.
Absolutely, yeah. We always get on well with Alessio. And he was at the EAG show as well. He had, his publication had a stand there. And as I understand it, this new museum is a sort of combination of pinball museum and modern art museum too. Ooh. So I think it's in what was previously a school building, and I think they probably got about 30 machines in at the moment. They're going to have big plans for what it is. I was talking to Alessio about it, and says they're going to be doing a lot of educational programs there. They have a teaching classroom. They are going to every game has a QR code on it where you can scan it and find out a lot more information about it. And yes, I think they're certainly sort of doing a sort of community reach into schools and colleges there to teach them all about the science, technology, and mathematics elements of pinball and the history of them and their relevance to popular culture at the time. So I think, it's a nice start, and I think they do have big plans for what they want to do with it. So the question, of course, is whereabouts in Italy is it?
Oh, yeah, I was hoping you were going to say that.
Right, okay. Well, I will then have to have a look at my emails and tell you that it is in Terni in Umbria, which is not too far from Rome.
Okay. So that's the middle of Italy.
It's in a splendid tourist resort characterised by the Marmora Falls, which is a unique place. And it's been done in collaboration with the local municipality and the Umbria region and the Italian Ministry of Culture. So it's got good backing, and hopefully it'll be a big success. So if you're in the Umbria region and want to go and see the museum, it's in Terni, Terni. So the Pinball and Modern Art Museum. Good luck to them.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Good luck to them. So, and, I have one last note. Is that something you want to cover?
Yes. I think we mentioned it before that former pinball designer, John Trudeau, was due to be up for a parole hearing in, I think, October or November of this year. Well, apparently it happened earlier, and he's been granted parole and has been moved to a halfway house in preparation for full release. So more than that, we don't know, but looks like he is out of prison at the moment. And
well, good for him.
Well, fingers crossed. He keeps his nose clean, as they say, and can move on, as indeed we all can.
Right. Okay. I suppose that rounds it up for our 60th episode.
It does, with no Gary. Still no Gary.
Still no Gary. Well, okay.
You know what's going to happen, don't you? As soon as we say goodbye, the phone's going to ring. But you just know it.
And I'm going to let it ring. Sorry,
yes,
but
we will. Yeah.
No, it's 1:30.
Yes, I think in the morning,
at night, and my alarm is going at 8 a.m. So
we'll have to get on. So anyway, thank you anyway, Jonathan, and thank you to everybody for listening to this 60th anniversary PINcast from Pinball Magazine. Pinball
it's
News.
not our anniversary. It's not like we've done it for 60 years.
Well, it feels like 60 years, but no, it's I think 60 PINcasts is worth celebrating. So any gifts
we missed 50.
Drinks
sorry about
send
that.
our way will be gratefully received.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And you can also bring them to Texas Pinball Festival, where we hope to be in person.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I certainly will be, and I hope you will be there with me as well. So if we don't get to see you there, we will we'll speak to you again at the beginning of April, where we'll be looking back at that show and all the things that happened in the pinball world throughout this month of March. And it's looking like it's going to be a really packed.
I was going to say, this is going to be a very exciting month.
It is,
yes.
Yeah. So join us for that if we don't get to see you before then. So until then, from me, Martin Ayub of Pinball News, I will wish you a very enjoyable March.
And from me, Jonathan Joosten, editor of Pinball Magazine as well.
Okay, so we'll see you next time. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Is that Gary?